spar. It's in me, and it's what I do. So I remember I had no equipment with me, no head guard, no bandages.
Street clothes, weren't you?
Yeah.
As good as.
So I don't remember exactly what I was wearing. I don't quote me on it because I don't like.
Whoa, stop!
This is the camp where my bodies took the most abuse, like through sparring and running and training, bag circuits, XYZ. Every 2 days I had a new injury.
Tyson Fury drops a bombshell, admitting he knocked out Moses Itauma during sparring before the Franklin fight, and the shockwaves are immediate. This wasn't routine dominance, it was a warning flare, exposing cracks no one believed existed. If Moses was folding behind closed gym doors, how does he last under bright lights against Jermaine Franklin? Fury's power, timing, and ruthless ring IQ paint a darker picture, one where Franklin isn't tested, his erased. What began as a sparring story now twists into a brutal prophecy, reshaping perceptions and threatening to redraw the heavyweight hierarchy overnight.
I don't quote me on it because I don't like telling lies, but I remember I had one shoe off and one shoe on. The shoe came off, and it was what it was. We had a little move around.
No bandages, no gum shield?
No, nothing. Big fat 27 stone. We had a move around, and it was a pleasure. He was only a young lad then. I think it was maybe about.
The leaked sparring footage of Moses Itauma and Tyson Fury has the entire boxing world buzzing, and it's unsettling for all the wrong reasons. Fury isn't pulling punches or hiding intent, his power, timing, and cold ring IQ are flashing like warning signs. Moses looks overwhelmed, stripped bare, exposed. And if he's drowning like this in training, the question sharpens brutally. How does he survive elite heavyweights like Jermaine Franklin when the real fight finally arrives?
Good checker.
Moses Itauma finally admits the sparring with Tyson Fury was brutal, describing crushing rounds that left his body shattered and his limits exposed. He tries to brush it off as routine training, but the truth bleeds through the cracks. Fury didn't just work, he dominated, dragging Moses into deep, unforgiving waters and testing him like never before. And now the question hangs heavy and dangerous. If this was the damage behind closed doors, can Itauma really withstand top-level power when it's real, relentless, and coming from someone like Jermaine Franklin?
Me and Tyson, we done some good rounds. Remember on a Thursday, we done some heavy rounds. My body was in bits.
Shannon Briggs steps in to cool the noise, addressing the rumors of Moses getting knocked down in sparring and reminding everyone that gym wars don't decide real fights. But the damage is already done. Leaked footage and whispered reports have ignited controversy, and fans are tearing it apart, debating how much these training knockdowns truly mirror live ring performance. And sometimes the talk itself is dangerous enough, planting doubt and quietly questioning Moses' readiness for elite-level competition.
Rumor this morning or last night. I don't know if it's true. Somebody said he's been down in the gym a couple times, but that don't mean nothing, because the gym don't win fights.
Frank Warren keeps it polished, framing the situation with professionalism, stressing the fight was highly anticipated and setbacks had to be managed carefully. But beneath the calm, controlled tone, the reality is far messier and far more dangerous. Tyson Fury's sparring dominance over Moses has quietly hijacked the narrative, twisting what should have been routine promotion into uneasy speculation. What was meant to be a smooth build-up has turned into a loaded talking point, raising sharp eyebrows and uncomfortable doubts about Moses' toughness, resilience, and whether he can truly handle top-level heavyweights when pressure stops being theoretical and becomes brutally real.
It was a fight that was highly anticipated and we all wanted to see. But having said that, we had to, turn a bad situation into a reasonable one. I think
Derek Chisora breaks down the purpose of sparring, but Tyson Fury's knockout of Moses Itauma delivers that lesson the most brutal way possible. Moses didn't just miscalculate, he paid for it, and the price was heavy. Sparring is meant to teach, yet this moment taught through damage, exposing serious gaps in his timing and defense. And now the unease sets in, raising sharp questions about whether he can withstand elite-level aggression when fighters like Jermaine Franklin come forward with real intent.
It's different. Sparring, you're there to learn. So the guy you knocked out in sparring, he's understand, okay, I did this silly move, that's how I got knocked out. So I'm going to have to stop doing these silly moves so I don't get knocked out.
Adam Smith sums up the brutal truth of boxing, where controversy, chaos, and spectacle collide without warning. Fury's knockout of Moses in sparring didn't just add drama, it detonated it, igniting debates and endless speculation. Though never condoned in official fights, This shadowy incident has amplified intrigue, leaving fans restless, wondering how Moses will respond when pressure turns real, and whether he can survive the unforgiving force of top-level heavyweights like Jermaine Franklin when there's nowhere left to hide.
Price is big for the casual fans. Do we condone it? I mean, in boxing terms, should that happen at a head-to-head? Of course not, but these things do happen. This is the fight business, and it's just made it even bigger, and we wait to see what happens.
Eddie Hearn labels Moses' situation very difficult, and the weight of that statement lands hard. Fury's sparring knockout didn't just happen, it ripped the curtain back, exposing vulnerabilities and dragging Moses into relentless scrutiny. This isn't a bruise you ice and forget. Overcoming something like this cuts deeper than the body, burrowing into the mind where doubt lives longest. Now the noise grows louder, fans questioning whether confidence can be rebuilt, whether belief can survive, and whether Moses can truly handle elite threats like Jermaine Franklin after being broken down and dominated behind closed gym doors.
With Dubois, we'll see what happens, but that's for them to overcome now, and it's a very difficult situation.
Johnny Nelson cuts through the noise, dismissing the hype as fake news, and his warning lands with sharp urgency. In boxing, rumors move faster than punches, and Fury's sparring knockout of Moses has already ignited wild speculation. Some fans are clinging to it as proof of weakness, turning whispers into verdicts. But Nelson draws a hard line between myth and truth. Training knockouts don't decide real fights, and shadows in the gym don't always survive the spotlight. His message is blunt and necessary: react to facts, not fear. Separate the drama from reality before it consumes the narrative. Moses is still standing, still learning, still capable of adapting and proving himself when it actually counts. The gym may tell a story, sometimes a dark one, but the real battles aren't fought behind closed doors. They are fought under the lights, where pressure is public, consequences are permanent, and truth can no longer hide.
And I'm saying that's fake news. I'm not having that. So let's wait and see. If it's true, that's a shame. You'll have to get to the bottom of it. But I'd heard this yesterday, but I just put it down as fake news. It's not real. So all we can do is react to what we know. So we can speculate. You can only react to.
Lawrence Oakley breaks it down with cold clarity. Sparring is meant to be a classroom, but sometimes the lessons are violent and unforgiving. Fury knocking Moses out in training isn't a random fluke or bad moment. It's a sharp demonstration of skill, timing, and real heavyweight power colliding at once. Moses can't afford to dismiss this. He has to treat it as a warning and a test, studying every mistake while forging resilience under pressure. Every knockdown in the gym is more than embarrassment. It's a moment to correct flaws, recalibrate strategy, and sharpen instincts before it's too late. If those lessons aren't absorbed now, they don't disappear, they resurface when stakes are highest. The same errors that cost him in training could punish him brutally in an official fight. This uneasy blend of learning and survival is what separates promising fighters from true champions who adapt, endure, and rise when it matters most.
And sparring's really for learning, but you can also learn to take someone out. So it's
Anthony Joshua's insight lands like a warning shot, sharp and impossible to ignore. Underestimating a fighter is one of boxing's deadliest mistakes, and that danger now stalks Moses if he dares to dismiss Fury's sparring dominance. Preparation isn't optional at this level, it's survival, and Fury's performance has already sent a clear, unsettling message. Moses can't hide behind reputation or hype anymore. Those shields crack fast. What he needs now is discipline, ruthless focus, and flawless execution. Every punch absorbed in the gym wasn't random, it was a reminder that elite fighters punish mistakes instantly and without mercy. Joshua's perspective cuts deeper because it comes from experience, proof that even the best suffer consequences when confidence drifts into carelessness. There are no free passes at the top. Whether Moses can truly internalize this lesson will decide everything, because his future hinges on whether he can endure real power, precise timing, and calculated strategy when opponents like Jermaine Franklin bring pressure that doesn't fade and doesn't forgive.
Underestimate certain fighters and fighters that should never beat a certain guy and have gone in there and shocked the world because of this person took their preparation.
Moses Itauma leans hard into the idea of sticking to the game plan, and after being dominated in sparring by Tyson Fury, that mindset isn't optional, it's survival. He understands that one brutal session doesn't decide a career, but execution, discipline, and relentless focus do. Still, Fury's knockout wasn't meaningless, it exposed gaps, sharp and uncomfortable, that can't be ignored. Now the pressure is on Moses to twist that moment into fuel, to refine strategy, tighten habits, and prepare mentally for what really matters. Confidence doesn't come from noise or hype, it's built quietly through preparation and repetition when no one is watching. Following a clear plan isn't just smart, it's protection against another humiliating collapse. If Moses executes with precision, controls the tempo, and limits costly mistakes, he can flip the narrative. A setback in training doesn't have to define him, but failing to learn from it just might, when the bell rings and the ring demands answers.
I focus on the outcome of a fight. The outcome of the fight depends on the game plan, and I'm going into this fight sticking towards the game plan. And if I stick to the game plan, it can't be along that. Like I said, I'm not going out there expecting that I'm going to do it, but if I stuck to the game plan, if I do it, if I execute it.
Jermaine Franklin openly believes the matchup tilts in his favor, convinced Dylan didn't win the last fight and that he's the superior option, and that confidence adds a sharp psychological edge. It's a bold claim, but it changes the temperature of everything. Now Moses isn't just fighting a man, he's facing an opponent who's convinced he belongs here more. Franklin's mindset reveals something dangerous. He studies, he observes, he catalogues weaknesses, and is ready to exploit them without hesitation. That puts Moses under a different kind of pressure. This isn't simply about power, speed, or raw skill anymore. It's about mental toughness, strategic discipline, and staying composed when confidence across the ring feels unshakable. A fighter who ignores an opponent's belief can get caught off guard fast. That dynamic alone twists this matchup into something volatile and compelling. Franklin's assertiveness sets the stage for a high-stakes collision where preparation is tested, adaptability is exposed, and ring IQ becomes the deciding factor. When the moment arrives, Moses will either rise, solve the puzzle, and silence the confidence, or get pulled into deep waters by a calculated opponent who believes he already owns the advantage.
I feel like he know that Dylan didn't win the last fight, so I feel like in his mind I would be the better option.
Shannon Briggs addresses the rumors of Moses being dropped in sparring and tries to brush it off, but beneath the casual tone, the reality cuts much deeper. Sparring has a way of revealing truths fighters can't afford to ignore, and Moses may have taken more than just a few harmless shots. The leaked footage with Fury tells a harsher story, one where Moses was clearly overpowered, and fans are already dissecting every moment. Briggs's relaxed dismissal masks a serious warning. Every slip, every knockdown, every second of vulnerability is a lesson written in pain, and pretending it doesn't matter can be dangerous. The gym may not decide championships, but it absolutely sets the tone for how a fighter responds when pressure tightens and escape disappears. Moses now stands at a crossroads. He can either dismiss the warning signs or absorb them fully. If he learns, adapts, and sharpens his technique, he can rebuild confidence and steel his mind. Because against a real challenge like Jermaine Franklin, mistakes won't be debated or excused. They'll be punished without mercy.
I'm hearing things that he's been dropped in the ring, in the gym and stuff like that. But that's okay too, because I took a couple spills, little slips in the ring, in the gym. That's okay, but we're going to see. This is going to be a good.
Frank Warren stays publicly optimistic about Moses, acknowledging the rough year marked by limited fights, broken momentum, and constant schedule disruptions. He makes it clear that activity is essential, not optional, for Moses to stay sharp, rebuild confidence, and regain his rhythm. Yet behind that optimism, the shadow of Fury sparring knockout still looms, casting real doubt over Moses's current readiness. Warren believes, however, that the right preparation, steady competition, and smart planning can flip the narrative and restore Moses as a legitimate contender. His comments underline a delicate balance, criticism without abandonment, pressure without panic. Moses isn't written off, but is standing at a dangerous crossroads. One path leads forward, fueled by determination, focus, and disciplined structure, where lessons are learned and momentum is rebuilt. The other path lets doubt fester. This perspective reassures fans while quietly raising the stakes. Will Moses absorb the setback from the gym, stay active, and prove he belongs among elite heavyweights like Jermaine Franklin? Or will unanswered questions follow him all the way to fight night, waiting to be exposed under the lights?
I know it'll be competitive. We believe in Moses. Moses 2026. He only fought twice this year. A couple of problems with, again, we lost the December date, as I just mentioned. But he's got to make it. He's got to be busy next year, getting back to what he was a busy fighter. And I'm looking for him to challenge for a world title.
Ide Oladipo drives the point home with urgency, stressing that Moses's future hinges on careful matchmaking, not reckless ambition, warning against throwing him to killers before he's truly ready. Facing Jermaine Franklin, a top 30 opponent, strikes a dangerous but necessary balance, tough enough to test him, controlled enough to allow growth. This is where skills are sharpened, confidence is rebuilt, and experience is earned without risking a soul-crushing setback. Fans may crave instant fireworks, but real development doesn't follow impatience. Measuring Moses against Franklin, then stacking that performance beside elite battles like AZ or Dillian Whyte, will reveal uncomfortable truths. Can he manage pressure when it tightens? Can he read timing, absorb power, and respond with purpose at a higher level? These questions won't be answered by hype, they'll be answered by execution. Strategic progression, patience under fire, and lessons learned from past sparring scars, especially Fury's dominance, will decide everything. This is the proving ground where Moses either matures, adapts, and hardens into a serious threat, or stalls before ever reaching the summit. Whether he becomes a fighter capable of standing toe-to-toe with the division's best will be determined here, in moments where learning is painful and mistakes are unforgiving.
I honestly thought this is the perfect opponent for Moses' development. You can't rush Moses. I know everyone wants to see him in there with killers. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I think he's ready. But the fact is, you do have to take your time with Moses. And I think someone like a Jermaine Franklin, who is a top 30 guy, top 30 guy, who again, we've seen him with AJ and Dillian Whyte, so we can compare Moses' performance against him and compare it to...
Frank Warren believes Moses has what it takes to win, but he makes one thing unmistakably clear: this fight has to stretch him. It must test his endurance, his skill set, and his ability to adapt across a full, unforgiving 12 rounds. Moses isn't a one-note fighter, and this matchup won't allow shortcuts. It demands strategy, intelligence, patience, and resilience under pressure. Warren wants to see him meet adversity head-on, adjust mid-fight, and think his way through danger instead of leaning on raw power alone. That message cuts deeper than praise. It reframes success as something earned in real time, not promised by talent. Execution under stress is the currency here. For fans, that means tension, momentum swings, and genuine unpredictability. But for Moses, Warren's words carry a quiet challenge. Overcome the setbacks, silence the doubts, and show a true championship mentality against someone like Jermaine Franklin. When the physical tools start to cancel each other out, it will be mental toughness, ring IQ, and composure that decide whether Moses breaks through or gets exposed when strength alone is no longer enough.
Stop him. I expect him. I believe he will win the fight. I believe he'll win the fight. How he wins it, we'll see. For me, beating him is a big thing. Right. However he does it, and I want to see the other side of him as well. I want to see him. I want to see him in a tough 12-round fight where he comes through it and boxes his way through it. He's not a one-trick pony. He can box, but as I say, this is a tough one. This is going to be.
The Tyson Fury versus Moses Itauma sparring revelations have sent shockwaves through the boxing world, and now one brutal question hangs in the air: can Moses really bounce back from that knockout? We've seen the leaked gym footage, heard the expert breakdowns, and felt the confidence radiating from both sides, and it's only intensified the tension. This story goes deeper than raw power or size. It's about strategy under fire, resilience after humiliation, and the kind of mental toughness that only shows itself when everything is on the line. Fans are already divided, picking sides and arguing late into the night, debating whether Fury's sparring dominance is a true glimpse of what would happen in a real fight, or just a snapshot that Moses can overcome by learning the hard way. Did the gym expose the truth, or just plant doubt that fuels redemption? Every angle has been dissected, every opinion sharpened, and now the pressure is unavoidable. So now the spotlight shifts to you. If these two collide under the lights, who survives and who breaks? Drop your predictions in the comments, hit like, and subscribe for the most explosive, unpredictable boxing updates coming next.